How good does a game have to be worth more than $1,000? Ginga Fukai Densetsu Sapphire, I know I probably butchered that, but sorry, roughly translated as Galaxy Policewoman Legend Sapphire, is my rarest, most expensive game. This game was only released in Japan, and it's for the PC Engine CD-ROM squared system, which you're supposed to actually say as CD-ROM ROM. It requires a special expansion unit, which goes into the HuCard slot to increase the system's RAM. So is this good enough to be worth $1,000? Of course not. Are you kidding me? I don't think any game's that good. If Nintendo charged that much for The Legend of Zelda, I just ended up taking up a different hobby altogether, and that's my favorite game of all time. The developers who made this had no way of knowing that they were going to make a future ultra-rare collector's item, so I don't really think it's fair to factor in the game's current high price into my review of the game. I had to go through a long process to get this game working. Firstly, I had to do a lot of research and ask around to make sure I can get a legitimate copy of the game without getting ripped off for the price. This game goes for so much that it's definitely a huge score for a dishonest seller every time they trick somebody into buying a reproduction copy. With how much I ended up having to spend, I definitely wasn't going to risk being scammed with a counterfeit, which luckily didn't happen. I did end up getting a real copy. Then I had to order the Arcade Pro expansion card, which didn't work. I discovered that I was supposed to get the Arcade Duo card instead. After waiting a long time, the Duo card came over from Japan and it still didn't work. If you don't have the right expansion card, the game doesn't run and you get this screen. I suppose you could call it the sexy screen of death. Since I need to capture footage of games in order to make videos and stream, I have a modded Turbo Duo system that lets me record using modern equipment. I discovered that my modded Turbo Duo system didn't have a region-free HuCard slot like I thought it did. So, I got my Turbo Duo modded yet again, and finally got the game running. Most of the games made for the arcade card were fighting games. Lots are impossible for me to play because I can't read Japanese, and the rest of the system seems to be games I don't want to play. So I basically went through the entire upgrade process just to play this one game. Perhaps the sunk cost of time and money was what kept me chasing down the issues until I finally got the game running, but I can say in the end, it feels like it was worth it. It turns out this is actually a really good game, and I'm glad that a game that's this expensive and rare is actually so awesome. As far as obscure gems goes, this is the obscurest gem yet. I'm gonna have a real hard time topping this one. You can pick from 4 different ships, and all of them are quite different from each other, including their movement speeds. Each one has 3 possible shot patterns for a total of 12, which results in quite a bit of gameplay variety. One of the coolest features of Sapphire is the wide spread of difficulty settings. Easy is enough to give newcomers to the genre a fighting chance at completing the game, while letting veterans breeze through and get a feel for the game. Normal is probably where most players will find a challenge, and hard is an insanely hard experience. With the 2-player mode and how mild the easy mode is, this is a great game to introduce a friend to the shooter genre. 2-player mode is the definitive experience, and the main reason I want to recommend this game. There's a lot of teamwork and communication required, and it's a really fun accomplishment for both of you. And I might just have to put this on a list of my favorite shooters. Probably not the top spot, but it's definitely really good. The rarity of it greatly adds to the appeal to me, as obscure, little-known games are my current obsession. I'd still really like it if it were common, but probably not quite as much. You can also play this game on the PSP via a compilation, but that too is Japan only, and it's also pretty expensive as of the time of this writing. Something about this game constantly eludes a reasonable price point, and that's a shame because I feel like most shooter fans would have a blast playing it. There's a lot of rare, expensive games that are absolute crap, and this one's actually very awesome. If you're a collector like me and you want an exotic trophy for your collection that's actually something you'll want to play over and over to impress your friends with, Sapphire is definitely a great choice, but just don't go into financial ruin over it.